I had to press go live for YouTube. Oh,
Look
it's
at
got
what
my
I got.
camera.
What's that?
Wait till he's live, Art.
I think he is.
It's still showing dead here.
Me too.
Is that the Mavic Air 2 Art?
Now he
Hey,
is.
what?
Was that the Mavic Air 2?
There it is.
Okay, we're up.
Can you
We're
hear
up.
me?
It is. Let me. I forgot to.
What are you showing?
There we go. Had to mute my the YouTube. Yes, it is. Mavic Air 2 Fly More combination. Woohoo!
That's awesome. That's a great drone, dude.
Yeah, I flew Sean's. And I really liked it. Now, does the what is it? The smart controller work with this as well?
It's supposed to.
I don't think it does.
But I don't think it. I don't think it does yet. But it's supposed to.
Hey, there's Paulie. I got to jump out and let Paulie in say hello.
Oh,
Trombone.
Do that.
Hey,
Mr. Bum.
hey, Mr. Bum.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, Jim, you don't have to jump out, man. I would have waited till somebody got tired. I gotta shut off my notifications. Holy moly!
Paulie, I had that gazebo for one day.
Oh, there he is.
We
This
had that-
gazebo.
Yep. For one day, we put
What
it up,
happened?
and the wind took it. An immediate
no.
storm. Yeah.
Me too. This is the second one.
Oh, you got
Well,
two?
actually, it's the same one. I fixed it. I kind of like rigged it. I put sprints on it, splints, taped it up, a lot of duct tape, some 2x3 foreign strips.
It's
zip
got
ties.
screens on both sides that zip up, and makes it. It's a cool summertime
like-
gazebo.
Like a screen room.
Yeah,
Okay.
it don't keep the bugs out though.
How come? Holes in it. His top blew off.
I'm gonna raise the volume because I can barely hear you. Let me know if this echoes.
Does it come with anchors where you can anchor it down, or?
Yeah. Guess who
I
didn't?
actually,
I didn't use them.
I screwed.
Oh,
Is there
well,
anything
go
on your
figure.
deck?
Why it blew away.
You can anchor to.
Mine didn't blow away. It collapsed. It got full of rain and it just collapsed. Bent. It's all screwed down to the deck, and now I have it tied to my house. I put big giant hooks into my house. So I screwed them into the window frame and my door frame, and I tied it the two corners to the house, and the two corners behind me I got anchored down and screwed into the deck railing over here. This ain't going anywhere but down again if it rains.
Now the house will go away.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. The house will go away.
The house will be leaking now.
Yeah. Yeah, I used really long screws. I was wondering what those things were pointing to on the other side.
Oh my goodness.
All right, I gotta jump out and let Art talk about his Mavic 2. That now he's got the Mavic 2 and an Evo.
One.
Right? I mean, this guy is this not the luckiest man on the planet Earth?
Oh, beyond a doubt.
I thought that was me.
You're the second luckiest, Dennis. Art gets first place for luck.
That's it. All
And a
right.
grand piano.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You have my
And
grand
it's
piano.
new in the box, never been open. How cool is that?
That is very cool.
That isn't cool. It's supposed to be charged and ready to fly.
What a nice giveaway that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's the drawing?
Yeah, you can give it away just like Ken did.
Yeah. And I just ordered
We skipped that question,
two
didn't he?
high-speed SD cards.
Cool.
Yep.
Hey,
These
give it
are
away like Ken did. It's free. He'll ship it to you. Just give him $1,000 shipping.
yeah.
I'm in the dark here.
Hey, what SD cards were they, mate?
These are by NETAC, and they're 100 megabyte speed, and they're U3, so they should be good. I'm going to compare these to the U1 cards because I've noticed in 4K that the video is kind of
Yeah, you want to throw those away.
Yeah, get rid of them, mate. Put them in the fire.
And what you want to compare, Art, is date those cards somehow. Number them and track the date.
Right.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I've never heard of that brand name.
Yeah, I got these off of Amazon.
Yeah, I'd be worried about the longevity of them and the reliability of them because I've heard bad things about off-brand SD cards. I'll just put it that way. I hope you have the best of luck with them, but I've heard bad things.
Right.
I wanted to talk about them because what's important to note about your SD cards is the write speed.
Yeah.
Now, I buy expensive ones. These are Adatas.
Right.
And the LeXar 1800 series. Boy, you got to love this camera.
It's trying, Jim. It really is.
Yeah, but
that's that 4K camera of his.
the Brio. I need the $20 camera. But the point was that you got to check the constant write speeds because you guys are now up into the 100 megabits a second.
Yep.
Yep, that's what this is. Class
100 megabits a second is good, but the U3 is also as important, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
Art, hold it up a little bit. You had it down to where it was cutting off the spec on it.
That's the overall speed.
But that's a download speed.
Right, and transfer.
What
you got to actually look them up online because the UHS 1, its maximum is 104 megabits a second anyway. Ultra high speed -1.
Right.
That's the spec, the standard.
What you got to remember though with the SD card is that when it's got say it's got 100 megabit write speed on it, when you're actually recording with your drone that's shooting at 100 megabit, it's not actually recording video at 100 megabit. Right. The 100 megabit speed comes into burst photography with the write speed being able to keep up with that shutter.
Right.
Yeah. So when it's got 100 megabit on there and things like that, with U3 anyway, you're well and truly covered for your video speed. So they should be all right, Art. Is that the right speed it's got on there, or is that a download transfer speed that's written on there?
It's the total card
speed up to 100.
What does it say? Write speed up to 100?
They don't advertise write speeds. You have to look online for that.
It's 667X. I don't know what that means.
Isn't it the hardest thing to do to get information on a bloody SD card?
Yep.
I don't know why.
They don't want to tell you.
I've actually had these stolen because I got these off of Mass Drop.
Oh.
And these are $150 each. What? And remember, Steve, when I got that package and it was slit and they stole the SD cards right out of the package? I had gotten them on sale. But I've had these for 5 years. I've got a LeXar 1800 that just won't quit. Now, I did have one SanDisk card die on me. And these cards, as long as you register them, now get out your magnifying glass, because on there is a tiny number that I can't even see.
Right.
Every SD card has a tiny number on it, and that number has to be registered with SanDisk in order for them, because we all buy SanDisk Pro Extreme Pros, you have to register that number with SanDisk. So when that card dies, they'll replace it for free. Well, I found out the hard way because I didn't register the card with them.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't read the number.
And the other thing is
Tiny writing.
all the new sales now, they go with a company, I forget the name of it, and you get free recovery software that you can download to recover. And actually, I did it for a friend of mine, not on a SanDisk, but on another card, and it pulled the files up that he was unable to pull off.
Wow.
And it comes with a free download software, and that's where you find out you're reading that little itty bitty number. Thank God for magnifying glass.
Wow.
Huh.
I
That
didn't
much
even
money
know you
you
could
can store
register an
them,
SD card.
So what provided the software, Steve? I missed that.
Let me see if I can find it. I haven't reloaded it back on here yet. I would pull it up, but I've been in the process of rebuilding all the software on it.
It was supplied on the SD.
It's called Rescue Pro Deluxe.
Huh.
And when you buy it on the package, I don't know if you see a little thing, it comes up there, and it comes with a serial number and a registration of how to register it. Well, I don't want my numbers going out there.
Is that the same? Is that, Steve? Is that the same serial number that's on the SD card?
No. That's a registration card for the software.
Oh,
And that's for the rescue. On the card, I don't have my scan discs here. They're in the other room. But that's the program little card slip that comes with the the 64 and 128 gigabyte discs that I bought when they were on sale here not that long ago. Because I excuse me, I bought the 128s now because I've been buying the 64s for the Mavic Pro because of the price wise. Hello, Ron.
hey, Ron.
And I bought the 128s because of the Mavic Pro being able to use up to 128 now because the Mavic Pro, the Mavic Air 2 will take 128. The Mavic Pro will only take up to 64 gig chip.
Yeah, but won't the Mavic 2 take the 128s as well? Yeah.
Yes,
I just have it there to have a larger capacity there.
I'll be damned. This is a Samsung 64 gig card, and it's got a bunch of numbers on the back of it, just like y'all are talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to use the grandpas and the flashlight to see it, you know.
I use these progressive lenses plus the magnifying glass, so don't feel so bad.
Well, if I put enough light on it with the grandpas, these are actually prescription, but I can actually read the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's Jim doing here? Who's doing it? What do we got going on?
I don't know.
Jim,
the new SDK.
A new software development kit for the Mavic Mini that just came out for panoramas.
Thanks for that other info, Jim. I didn't know that SD cards had numbers like that you could register.
Oh, yeah, man. And if you don't register it, you wind up like me, just saying, screw it, go buy another one.
Well, that's what I've always done is just if one quits and it quits recording or whatever, I can't write to it. I just throw it away and break out a new card, you know?
Now, how many times have you had that happen? In my lifetime, I've only had it happen once.
Where it won't write at all, nothing will write to it, like no drone or no camera?
Yeah.
Maybe overall, maybe 3. It's very rare.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember, guys, I started digital stuff a long time ago.
Speaking of that, Ron, have you ever had one die?
No, but I was going to mention that I had one work perfectly fine after it was pulled out of the water for 4 days.
They're waterproof.
Yeah.
Actually, the SD cards are waterproof.
Yeah.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
Well, salt water too?
Salt water will cause corrosion on the copper.
Yeah, leave it. You got to clean it.
But if you very carefully clean them with a little bit of white vinegar and then neutralize that with some alcohol, and then let them air dry, you can probably save it.
It feels that way, right?
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Heard of that. So
SDK 4.13 for the Mavic Mini. What is it going to do?
it's going to do panoramas for you. And now this is just the first one, because the development groups are always working on this stuff. But this just came out, and I wanted to let you guys know about it.
Damn, I need to get a cable.
I didn't know because I know Al was talking about, he was trying to get a panorama. What was it, last week when we were speaking?
Yeah, I think,
Diaz,
yeah. You know what I've had them do where I shot a video, and when you play it back on the controller or the iPad or whatever it is you're using, it works fine. But I brought it into a computer and it's all green, corrupt. And I don't know why. I put it back in the controller, read it from there, plays fine. I don't understand.
I've not had that. Anybody else had that?
Say that again, Ron.
Matter of fact, it just happened to me a couple weeks ago, where shot a video, nothing out of the ordinary, played it on the smart controller, it worked fine, and plugged it into the computer, and it's like a lime green. That's all I get is a green blur.
Were you playing
on the
cache?
smart controller? It wasn't reading off the SD card in the smart controller, was it?
I don't know if it was reading off of that or the cache.
Yeah.
What were you
cache,
going to say, Mel?
Mine was the same question. The only way for it to read off the SD card is if the drone is on. If you disconnect the drone, turn the drone off, then you'll be reading off a cache, right, Matt? Am I right?
Yeah, you can download it. Yeah. But you have to manually download that original file into your Go4 app. That was a Go4 app you're talking, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have them on our Crystalsky and all that. It's when you turn on your video cache in your Go4 app, it automatically puts the 720p version on
right,
there.
Right.
I think it's 1080, isn't it?
Isn't that off the SD card though? When you go view it back?
No. You can
from cache.
You can actually get from the video cache. It'll store it on your Crystalsky, your smart controller. Just turn on video cache.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I have that turned on, but I was assuming that when I go with the drone on,
right,
and I go to the little arrow in the bottom right corner for play, right, and open up the menu and select videos or photos or whatever it is I want to look at, I was assuming that I was reading at that moment from the SD card, because if you shut the drone off, it won't work.
It's stored on your controller.
Yeah, but if you're
like the flight data is.
True, but
I want to get Dennis back on here while you're talking about the subject.
Let me get my drone real quick, and I'm gonna try something. We'll see what happens.
Oh, there you go. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a knife.
Uh-oh. That's not a knife.
That's a peeling knife. Hey, Paul.
Hello.
I'm here. You're frozen.
There I am. I'm frozen.
Yeah, Steve, I'll take you up. Steve's missing.
Everybody's frozen for me.
Hey, Mel.
Can you hear me?
For me, only Art and Drone Bomb are frozen.
You hear you, Paul?
No, Art moved.
Wait, I'm back. Am I back?
No, Paul's still frozen.
Hey, Mel. Can you hear me?
His headset.
Frozen.
He's got a headset, hasn't he? Yeah.
Paulie froze up. He might be on his porch there with his Apple device. Dennis, you've had 4 cards fail on you?
Over time, yeah, approximately 4. I mean, I know I threw away 3 recently altogether because I'd been saving them for the longest time, hoping that I'd finally recover data from them. But I don't know, maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, you know how time flies, I threw 3 cards away. And I think there was one before that. That was a long time ago. But you're right. You're right that it's rare. I mean, I have, some of these guys know, I have a lot of SD cards and I use them all the time.
There's software out there too that you can recover stuff off there. One of my, where I used to work for back in Pennsylvania, we were out at a photo shoot, a soccer game, and one of the photographers accidentally formatted his SD card. It was the compact flash, actually, was what it was. It's actually able to
I'm sorry, man. Go.
Use the software to pull it off of there. That's the way to go, Jim.
Yeah, that's what
nice.
I have one of those full.
Because I have found that the right reader, too, you need the right reader to actually get a faster speed when you're transferring to your computer.
Right.
Yeah, that does make a difference.
Hell yeah.
Now let me see something. Let me show you. I don't know, the screen's fixing to.
All right, you got to have your video cache on when you're flying.
Look. All I did was go to the menu in the bottom right corner.
Right.
Can you see what it says at the very top in that white bar?
Yeah, no photos.
Okay, above that, in the very top.
No.
It says SD card. So right now, this is reading not cache, but it's reading direct from the SD card in the drone.
Okay.
Now, and it says there's no photos or videos there. Okay.
Can you go into your files in Explorer? Hey, Mitch.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch.
I have File Explorer. Do you have applications or File Explorer or something you can tap?
Sure. I can swipe down and go to. Where is it at under? No, it's not in settings. I went to the wrong place. Go back. I want to go to the main menu.
Hey, B-Mac.
Brian.
File manager, correct?
Right.
Okay, and what do you want me to look at?
You should be able to go into
like
your
images and videos right here in the file manager. Is that what you mean?
Okay, try that.
Okay, now that's cached.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This is from the cached storage.
Right.
That's in the controller.
Right. What's the quality? Do you know? Is it 1080 or 720p?
That's images. Let me look at video.
Okay.
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
You can't long press and get properties?
I'm sorry?
If you long press on it
and get properties?
No, if I press on it at all, I get a check mark to select it.
Okay.
Cancel copy. Let's see what some more says. More. No, it just gives me the file size, the folder it's in, the date it was created, and where it's saved. It's saved to storage, external SD card, so it's saved on the SD card in the controller. Okay.
Right.
So that's the cache stuff that's on the SD card in the controller. Okay. Now let me get out of here.
It should have an internal also.
Well, that's what. Yeah, but I save it to the SD card.
Okay.
That
but
way
if you didn't have that SD card in there, it would still video cache.
Yes, it would to the internal memory.
Right.
But I want to be able to keep that, so I swap these now and then. But so now I'm going to go back into the GoPro app, and just to give you an example, enter device, go fly, pretend like you're going to fly, ignore. Okay, so here's the image the drone is seeing right now, right? There's, God, I don't want to drop this. Down in the bottom corner where you hit the play button,
right?
There's nothing on the SD card in the drone. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to let it record just a couple seconds of video. I'll raise it up here, show the screen, put it back down. Okay, now I'm going to stop the recording, Now I'm going to go back to the view. And now on the SD card in the drone is one video. And it will be the video that I just did, that I just created.
Right.
Now that's reading directly from the SD card in the drone.
Take the internal memory of the drone.
No, the SD card in the drone, because I record to the SD cards, not the internal.
Can you try something for me, Mel?
Take the SD card out of the controller.
Well,
no.
I'm gonna show you. Okay. Now I'm back to standard mode, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna shut the drone off. Okay. Now, when I go to that option, you can't. Well, let's see. Let me take the SD card out because I know that that's where it's reading from. And there's a reason I don't take these SD cards out very often because they're hard for my fat fingers to get them out of there.
They're bad on the 2 Pro, man.
Okay, so now the SD card is out. I'm going to reboot the drone.
Very nice, Art.
That's pretty, Art.
Have you flown it yet?
SD card not inserted.
Found out.
So
you've had it out of the box for 5 full minutes now.
Yeah, that's
now here again, Matt, I can't get to that option. It's not available because the SD card's out of the drone.
Cool. Yeah, okay.
The drone is on.
Yeah.
So when you record to the SD card and the drone is on, the SD card in the drone, and the drone is on, and you punch that little button in the bottom corner of the GoPro app, what you're looking at is not the cached memory, it's the actual footage.
Yeah.
That's all I just wanted to show you guys.
Yeah, that's strange. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
I haven't even
absolutely.
looked at that. When I look at footage when I'm flying, I do actually go out of that and I go into the editor.
I
think it's the editor. Where are we? Yeah. So instead of being in equipment, down the bottom, I click on editor. And this is while my drone's still in the air, by the way. And then you've got album, create, and go share and all this sort of shit. Sure. And I just go to the album and I just check out the shot that I just did. And that's how I check that footage. I didn't know there was a play button on the right-hand side.
It's on the very bottom right-hand corner in the GoPro app.
I'm going to check that.
And that's reading directly from your drone SD card.
Yeah, okay.
You know how I learned that?
Huh?
Because when I was shooting pictures for the power company with Precision Hawk in California with the Inspire 2 and the X7, after every shoot, I had to go back and look at all the photos. The only place we were allowed to save photos was on the SD card in the bird. At the end of the day, that SD card got took out and handed over to the proper authorities. In other words, people at above our pay grade.
Yeah.
And we weren't allowed to have any cached saving, anything anywhere of any of those photos.
Were you required to shut the video cache off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and if they walked up, if they drove out on site and you're flying, okay, and they go to either one of the controllers, because we were flying dual controllers.
Right.
They go to either one of them and go to the settings and look at the cached. If it was turned on, you're fired on the spot.
Wow.
If you got caught copying
like this
those
is a
images,
state secret?
Exactly, right? Like it's top secret shit. If you got caught copying images to your personal device, instant termination. If you got caught taking pictures with your own equipment and posting it on your own social media, you got fired on the spot. Oh, yeah. They were serious about it.
Wow.
Mitch, getting back to those, what you just said, lots of cheap cards claiming big specs. I actually had to hunt down these Adata specs, and they're at 155 megabytes a second. That's why I went with them, because when I did have one fail, it had very, important stuff that I wasn't going to be able to get again. So I was highly ticked off. And so I started paying more for the cards. That's what drove me to Adata.
But did you say you paid $150 for that card?
It's 150 megabyte, 155 write speed.
Oh, what'd you pay for it?
I got it on sale for 103.
That's expensive. How big a card? How big a card is it?
It's a 128 gigabyte.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There's been an awful lot of videos on YouTube where guys buy up a whole bunch of these counterfeit cards. And they actually say SanDisk on them, and they're printed and they're supposed to look just like the originals, and no-name cards, and they actually perform real tests on them. And a lot of them say 64 gigabyte, and they're really like 2 gigabyte cards. And, and a lot of them are just complete and total junk.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, you got to be real careful, and you want to know, when you think about it, you can buy a SanDisk Extreme Pro from a reputable dealer. You can buy a 64 gig card for like what, $15, $13, $18, and is it really worth not getting a good recording of what it is that you're shooting to save a few bucks? To save
this is the thing.
SD cards.
This is the thing. You've got yourself, a couple of grand's worth of drone and camera.
Right.
Why wouldn't you spend that extra 100 to get exactly what you needed? And I mean, don't get it off Wish. That you're just after trouble.
I heard Mel mention the Samsung Evo card.
Yeah.
And I've got half a dozen of those. I've got some 64 gig ones and some 128 gigs. And those things have been terrific. I've never missed a frame on any device with any of those cards. And they're very inexpensive.
And
I'll use that on my Pro
This
one.
one's been a very dependable card. The only reason I swapped it out is because it's a U1.
Well, the ones I got are U3. I mean,
Yeah.
I go for the V30, V60, or V90s, but I prefer the V90s because
Matt, you've got a good point there. It's almost like some of my hunters will buy a $2,000 gun and $100 scope, and then they blame the gun.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And 9 times out of 10, it's the shooter.
Yeah.
That's the card. That's the card that I use. That's the card, but it's a U3 card that I have. Yeah.
Now you got to remember that you guys who are coming from the lower speed drones, they used to only shoot at 40 megabits a second, and now you're coming up to this 100 megabits a second.
But see, that's the U3 though. The U3 will handle the new speeds.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Mavic Pro, the original Mavic Pro, was 80 megabits.
60.
And the camera, the Osmo Action, is shooting at 40, right?
I don't know. I don't have one. Mel has one.
Osmo Action, I believe, is at 40 megabits a second, 4K. Right. But 4K is, even on these 64s, is actually over an hour of video.
Another problem that you have with some of these different cards in different devices is the way the card's formatted, which is why we recommend that you always format the card in the device that you're going to shoot it in.
That's what I do. Yeah.
I have some cameras for the FPV drones that are split cams, and they record 4K to an onboard SD card and also provide an FPV feed. And there's one of them that's made by Cadex that is formatted with a maximum of 64 megabyte sectors, and it will not record on anything else. And if you try to format that card on a computer, it won't work. You actually have to format it in the device that you're going to use.
I see.
Some of them use FAT, some of them use FAT32, some of them use exFAT.
You just put me back in. I was just telling everybody I'm going to go smoke really quick, so leave me out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I bought the original Evo for my Pro. They shoot at 60, Mitch. They're not as high as 80.
Oh, I thought it was 80. Maybe you're probably right. 60, yeah.
You always want to go with the exFAT file system because the FAT file system stops at 4 gigabytes.
Correct.
And will split your file. And you don't want that happening. So always format in the exFAT fashion.
Yeah. What a pain in the butt.
DJI Go 4 will split your file at 4 gigabytes.
Yeah, I was going to say some devices are going to split the file no matter how you have the card formatted.
Right.
Let's see if we scroll a little bit on that. We can get more of that cards in there. This is what they're considering quality.
Yeah,
I see you got your V30s and your V90s, and you're going to be safe with V30 because
V30 is more than adequate.
Yeah. Another thing people mix up is megabytes a second and megabits a second. Yeah. You got to watch out for that capital B in the description or the small.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
You see, that's how you know you're talking about video speed. It says V30.
Those are both good cards. I use both of them, the brown and red one and the black and red, the Extreme and Extreme Pro.
Man.
Yeah, I got the Extreme Pros when I got the Mavic 2. And then Rick Howell was kind enough to send me a couple as well.
I have got a LeXar, which I had never heard of it. When I bought one of my Phantom Pros, I bought it from a NASA contractor, one of my Inspire Pros, rather. When the Inspire 2 came out, they sold one of their Inspire 1 Pros, so I bought it from them. And it came with the LeXar 1800 card in it, and he said, because I was saying, oh, well, I usually use SanDisk. He says, you got to try this card. And so I did. And so for 5 years, this card has still run flawlessly.
That's what I have, Jim, in my my Sony. This is one of those LeXars. Works phenomenal. Never had a problem.
You can truly count on them.
LeXar, from what I understand, is a big name in the professional photography community.
It is. Although, in saying that, I think they give you LeXar when you buy a drone, like a 16 gig card, and they are absolutely pathetic. You just might as well throw them away, mate, because the read rate on them is appalling. And I noticed that with a lot of drones that I've looked at with the standard card that comes with it, it just doesn't hack what the drone can do. I don't even know why they put them in there, to be honest. It's pretty sad. Gives me the shits.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I wanted to give you a more proper happy birthday, unlike the one I gave you yesterday.
You're off my friends list. Yep,
I'm trying to get back on the mates list.
Tell you what, it's going to take a lot of effort, dude. Nah, thanks, mate. Oh, dude.
Hey, Jim, funny. Can I get you to share that screen? There you go. It gives you a good breakdown of what it does and what you need to do. There it gives you your speeds and across the board of what the cards are actually writing at and reading at. So.
And again, remember the megabytes versus megabits. You're running at a constant, hopefully, a constant 100 megabits a second. I think the Mavic 2 Mini's up to that too, isn't it, guys?
120. Oh, no, sorry. I'm talking the Air. Sorry.
120
I don't know
megabits?
what the Mini writes at anymore.
No, the Air is. I don't think that the Mini's shooting at that.
Matt.
I would think it was more like 60 megabit, but I'm not sure.
Yes, Art.
I have something for you.
Here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Join in.
you.
Everyone join in.
Birthday, dear Matthew.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, I'm going to update my mates list. Ron's
So it's
effort.
your birthday, huh?
It was, yes.
And it was happy at one point.
And I look fantastic as Shakira, so we all know that.
The dogs are barking.
So have we exhausted the SD card discussion?
Unless you want to add to that.
I have nothing.
Okay, I just want to show this.
Yeah, one at a time, boys. One at a time.
That, I mean, that. Look at that setting in the urinal.
How did she ever say yes to that shot? Seriously, you know. I'm fantastic. Have a look at
I
me.
saw this and it just killed me. It did.
I wouldn't leave home if I looked like that.
Hey, Dre's joining us. I think I'll pop out and let him say hello. No. If you look like that, do you really need to leave home?
No. Hey, Dre.
Hey, how you doing today, gentlemen?
Hey, Dre.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Dre, how are you?
Good.
Very good. Got me some new headphones that fit.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, my question is on the SD cards before we get off the subject is how many people still swap cards out of drones? Because I think that kills the SD card more than anything else. When you're swapping them out. When people take an SD card and put it in like one drone and then put it in another drone.
Ah, okay. Yeah. You know what I do too. Yeah, I tend to leave the same cards. Like I never put my Evo into my Pro 2. That always stays in the Pro 1.
Right.
Always.
Yeah, but I always take it out to copy the files off of it. I don't.
Yeah, you take it out to copy the files, but I always tell people, I say, as cheap as cards are nowadays,
right?
Keep that main card in the bird unless you're downloading the information off of it. Put it back in it. Don't swap it between a Spark and a Mavic 2 Pro or whatever you may have. I think that kills a card quicker than anything else.
I'm still looking for somebody to beat my world record of about 35 feet, which is how far you can actually eject an SD card out of a device and have it launch across the room.
35 feet is pretty good.
That's excellent.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah.
Why do you think that, Dre? It's just writing.
Well, a lot of times, like I remember, I've been using SD cards when always into music, and when stuff was coming out back in the early 2000s, and I know back then when we're using the old FAT format, that it can get corrupted very easy when you're switching it out of devices and stuff. Like Mel was saying earlier, how different machines read and write differently from other machines, and you can corrupt the file itself, because your SD card is no different than an old style cassette tape, 8-track tape. It's information written on something. It's just digitalized onto a memory. So if you put it into a different machine, you can actually corrupt it. And like Ron was talking about how you got all green screen at one time, put a card out. And like I said, I get it here at mine. I put it into my desktop computer through a reader and put it through my USB hub, and it may read it, and I got to take it out a couple of times and put it back in for it. It catches on. Which is why I don't even take mine out. That's the first time that card's been out of that drone since I bought the card. And I reluctantly took it out just to show Matt what I was talking about. But I plug the cable in to all my devices, whether it's this or the drone or whatever, it doesn't matter. I leave the SD card in there completely, and I plug the cable in. I hard transfer the data files. The transfer speed is just as fast using the cable as it is putting the card in the USB reader. So, yeah.
You have to power on the device. You have to power on the drone.
Yeah.
Which means you got to take the gimbal protector off and unfold the arms. And if you're a careful individual, you got to remove props. You always remove the props, don't you? You have to unfold one arm to get to the cable port, but you know,
you're not going to get a 30 megabyte a second transfer rate off the air, Mel. There's no way. It's not.
What's that?
You're not going to get a 30 megabyte per second transfer rate off the air. It's much, much, much faster to pull the card out of the craft and put it into a computer to transfer. Much faster.
Okay, I'll give you that. That may be true.
I've
not had any problem doing it that way with the cable.
No, it's not a problem if you have the time. You know,
He's talking about doing it with a USB cable.
What?
Not across the air, but a USB cable, USB-C.
Yeah. Plug the USB-C cable direct into the port on the craft.
I got you.
Or the device.
Okay, I got you.
And I'm running a pretty good processor and 64 gig of RAM, so to me it's not an issue.
Yeah, through the USB-C connection, you can absolutely achieve that speed, no question. Yeah. I thought you were saying over the air. I missed that. Sorry.
And thank you, Jim. The way Bob was talking about you doing the something shuffle, he called it a second ago. I think that's pretty cool the way Jim gets so many people to participate in his stream that he shuffles everybody all around so that everybody gets to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I've never
now all we got to do is get him to get that 10 user StreamYard. Panel shuffle. That's it. Panel shuffle.
That.
What was that, Dennis?
I'm sure he'd accept donations.
You could have stopped doing that, Ron. Oh, sorry, mate.
Matt's got a good point there. There is something to be said about after you've got a flight and you've recorded something important about swapping the SD card in your drone, so that if you happen to lose your drone from some unforeseen reason, you don't lose your footage too. A lot of guys will do it that way.
I did that when I was down I was doing the coastline, and I stopped at about 4 or 5 different areas, and I had 3 SD cards swapped in my drone that day because I just finished a couple of flights. I took that information out, and when it comes down to it, once you've done a shot and everything, a lot of people who lose their drones are more pissed off the fact that they lost their SD card.
Oh, no doubt.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Information.
Now on the Crystal Sky, it has 2 SD card slots. And
they're just readers.
When I go out and I don't do a lot of it, but when I do anything a commercial shoot, as soon as I'm done, I take the SD card out of the drone, stick it in the Crystal Sky, look to make sure that the video is okay, and then actually copy it to the other SD card in the Crystal Sky. You can go into the Explorer app in there and copy the file. So now I've got 2 copies of this important file that I just drove hundreds of miles to get to, a one-shot, one-time type of event, and that gives you a nice feeling of security.
Yeah.
Hey, Dre, got a question for you. I was curious of what your theory behind not ever using, one card out of it, in one camera to another. I forget who mentioned earlier that you probably should format any card that, if you're going to take it from different machine or camera or whatever. But what's your theory behind
well, that's true. That's the only way you can protect yourself. But like anything else, you're out there flying, you're trying to get as much flight time in, and it always takes that one little thing you forget to do. And it could be either from formatting the card or whatever, because you're trying to get that bird back up to catch whatever shot. You're out there trying to catch some activities going on, and then you forget. And then you get it back, and you say, what happened to my footage? Like I said, we're
and you don't find out till you're home.
That's right. You don't find out till you're home, and then you're like, well, I missed it.
Hey, Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, just because I haven't done this in a long time, but doesn't the smart controller, if you forget to put your card in the drone, the smart controller automatically kicks into the internal hard drive of the smart controller?
No. If you forget to put an SD card in your drone, the smart controller or the Crystal Sky, I believe, will, or even the tablet, the iPad, because it's not the device, it's the software in the Go 4. It says, hey, there's no SD card in the drone. Would you like to use internal storage? And then you say yes. Or no, and shut everything off and put an SD card in the drone.
Because that goes to the internal storage of the drone, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That's just the
yeah,
8 gig
and there's
side,
only
yeah.
8 gig there, and I mean, not that you'd probably use it up, but it is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucker only has 8 gigs of internal SD spot. And I don't use that at all. But that is a good thing to remember. I don't know if it makes a difference. Who knows? I'm not an electronics expert. We all know that. But I do format whenever I put the card in. Just because I'm scared that something might go wrong.
Well, the thing to remember too with that internal storage is it's an extremely high write rate, and and on one occasion, one of my mates did leave his card at home. Now he filled his 8 gig up, but the footage that came off of that internal storage was excellent, absolutely excellent. Nothing wrong with it at all, man.
Let me ask you something. What's your best transfer rate to your computer?
Slow.
Because I'm using either one of these things or one of these things.
Yeah.
Right? And
yeah.
What are you getting you better on? I actually get better off of this because it's supposedly USB 3 compatible than I do off the thing that comes with the card.
Well, you know, this thing here, it's not real quick because there's a lot of shit going on before it reaches your computer.
Right.
But it does me. It does me, mate. I mean, I think there's a card reader on here, so I could actually just plug that in. But it doesn't really worry me, mate. It doesn't take too long to download a day's worth of flying.
What do you got there, Steve? What is that?
Same thing Jim has. I have these cases for every one of my drones, each one of my cameras.
Oh, the cases, yeah.
And then what I do is I just label it, like on here. This one's labeled Canon 90D, and in the inside it's for the SD cards because it uses a full SD. Mm-hmm. And then, like Jim has, and it's water resistant. It's crushed. You can drive a car over it.
Yeah, I've got.
And then on the other ones for the Mavic Pro and for the Mavic Air 2, I've got the micro SD cards, and then it holds the adapters for reading. When you buy them, they come with it, so I just put them in there. And then what I do is I use the red side here. Is when it's used. I plug them in there. So I pull them out of here. When I pull it out of the drone, I put it in this side. And this way I know it's got information on it. And then these are clear. And then I keep those same cards only with that drone.
Right.
And these things are so inexpensive. I mean, the two of them I think were $16 or $18. And it comes with a carabiner clip. You can clip it on your case and carry it. But they're great.
I've got. You were talking about card readers. I've got a little USB card reader made by Transcend.
Right.
And it has a micro and a mini slot in it, and it's USB 3. Like that one. Little.
It's funny because it holds both the micro SD and the SD card.
And it's they only cost about $12, and it's USB 3.0, and it flies. It reads data as fast off of that card as the hard disk can write it in your computer.
Okay, now tell them how they can tell if it's a USB 3.0 reader or not.
It's got a blue. Well, the blue is USB 2.0, I thought.
No, this is on my Asus. They use red actually, but
red.
The colors do make a difference. That's how you know what the speed is.
But for $12, it's a pretty neat little deal. Art's got a transparent one there.
Yeah.
I don't know why my Asus computer actually has red. That's not part of the spec. But you know what? You know what annoyed me, guys? You got the LeXar?
Yeah.
And that's the USB 3, right?
It's a blue. So,
yeah.
But like I said, like Matt was saying, everything's in the chain. I plug it into my USB hub, which I know it has 2 ports that are USB 3. The other ports are USB 2. Plus, when it plugs into the back of my computer, if there's USB 3 one, so it's a lot of things in the chain. Depends how fast you're actually going to get the data across.
What's green?
I don't know.
That's USB4, Mel.
That's for that off-world download.
But I got the same kind of thing, Jim. It'll take all different sorts of sizes and different cards and stuff. And yeah, mine's green. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of a lime green or something, or a light. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a reader like Matt at my job, which I download my photos at work with and stuff, but it's an older 2.0 model. So it takes its time downloading all the still pictures off of my regular camera and off the drone when I take pictures at work.
I do the same thing you do, Dre. One card, one device.
Yeah.
If I change it out, it means it's getting a new card, and once it goes in the device, it gets formatted with the device.
Right.
And then that card stays in that device until I take it out and put a new card in.
Yeah, because I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories of guys saying about they put the card on their desktop computer or laptop and they make the mistake and format it on their computer and not in the bird, and then they mess it all up.
Yeah,
I tell you what, I do have a problem is every time I plug my, well, not every time, but probably 90% of the time, I plug my my card into the computer to get it. It goes, there's a problem with SD card. Fix
oh, yeah,
I get that every once in a while.
Which is why I use the cable.
Yeah.
But I say fix it, and I've never lost anything, so I don't worry about it.
Same. I was really pissed one day because I'd done all this footage. I thought, oh my God, it's going to shit the card out. And it didn't. It just went, yeah, problem fixed, off you go. And it's all there. And I, what the hell was that about?
Yeah.
God damn it. So yeah, it does happen. But anyway, I've got to go, fellas. I've got to get to work.
See you, Matt.
Good to see you, Matt. Good to see you. I just wanted to say I do the same thing Steve Carpenter does. These cards are empty now. They've been drained by transferring to computer. These sorry, my hands. These are from the craft. They need to be copied. They need to be copied to the computer. But I change out a card every day.
But there's a problem with the case that you have, as opposed to Steve's case, is that yours is yellow, and Steve's is red. And from what I heard, red is better.
Oh, okay. Well, probably. I mean, mine. He paid $16.99. I only paid $16.98. So that's I would have gotten the red one.
That's because it's red. It's got a premium.
Hey, Jim, bring yourself back in. I'm going to go smoke. And Dennis?
Yes, sir.
I'm proud to report that you're not upside down tonight.
I'm sorry. I have no idea why that is.
Jim, bring yourself back in.
Jim's out smoking. You all think he's just being nice, swapping us around like that. That gives him a great excuse to run out, have a beer, go to the bathroom,
Hey guys, I just wanted to show. I don't know if anybody ever got this. We got this off of Drone Valley about a year ago. It's a card reader, and I'll tell you what, this thing is freaking awesome. Because I've actually had problems not bringing the footage from the drone. When I had the Autel Evo, when I used to bring it into iPad, I had a hard time. Some of the files the iPad would not read. But one thing I found with this little card reader device, and it's made for as a USB-C, a Apple, and USB connection.
Wow!
And you put your SD card right into here, and you can download it into your phone right away if you want to. That thing works slick. I really like it.
That's pretty nice.
It's
problem
only,
I would have with that,
I think, like $20 or something. Yeah, $21.
Yeah, the problem I would have with that is that those connectors look like they're pretty small, so they wouldn't work with my iPad case, for example.
Right. Yeah, but it's worked very well for me.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like Rick Smith. He has good product.
Yeah, Ron, I have the same unit. I bought one several years ago. I have it in my case, and all you have to do, if you ever want to view on your phone, you can view all your video or photographs right on your phone, right then, or tablet.
Yeah, when you plug it into any new device, I think it automatically downloads an app.
Yeah.
That helps you bring that file in. But yeah. Well, hey guys, I got to do the same thing. I got to head to work. So.
Okay, Ron. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Everybody have a good night. Jim, thank you for having me in.
Take care, Ron.
Take care, Ron.
Okay, you guys have a nice evening. Take care.
You be safe out there, Ron.
All right, brother. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. And then I got this in the mail today.
Oh, filters.
Yep. They're for the Air 2. They're 2 set stops that go down. So the one goes from, let me put my magnifying glasses on. It's from 5 to 9, and the other one goes from 1 to 4. So you have all the ND stops all on 2 filters.
Wow.
Okay, so those are we call multifaceted, when you spin the wheel to determine what f-stop you want.
They're set click. You don't spin it. Yeah, and they're fixed click, not in between.
Okay.
God, 9 stops. What's that, like a ND 1000 or something?
I think it's either 512 or 1000. I forget what it is.
That's dark, man. You could weld through one of those things. Put them
Hey, Dre.
I'm gonna do some eclipse of the sun.
Yeah.
I think yours is actually the teal blue, where it's a 3.1.
Think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it looks blue to me. You know, teal blue, all that kind of stuff. This looks blue. I just know basic, but because I got to plug into this hub I got off Amazon, and then it goes to my main computer. I mean, I get good download rates, transfer rates from it, so I don't have problems. But I know the one I have at work is a very older one, and it says 2.0 on the outside cover of it. So I know there's a difference in what your devices you use determines your transfer rate more than anything else.
Oh, it sure does. I mean, I've seen it go slow as heck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I've got.
Is that the ARC 5?
Yep, these are the V5s.
Yeah, those are nice.
What are they?
This is the V5 strobes.
Better than my ARC 2s.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
Strobe lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the new ones. This has 4. His has 5 from Firehouse Technology, $35.
Let's put it this way. I've got light coming in through the outside. I've got all the lights on in the room here, and it's just lighting this place up.
They do say they're 1,000 CD. They're their brightest ever.
Yeah. And then what I did is for that, I bought this for the Mavic Pro because my other ones that I had, but come on.
Operator air.
Yeah.
I know. Got to learn how to turn it off and off.
You know, they make
Hold down.
For that.
And then the other one for the Air 2, this comes with its own mounting clip on it. So you can get these in clear, green, red, or whatever. So what I did is I bought the 4-pack of these, which gives me a red and green and 2 white. So I'm going to put the other white on the Mavic Air on the top, and then the mounts that come with it come with enough mounts. I'm just going to put them right directly on the battery, so it won't interfere with anything, and mount it on the top. But then these things are the same way. This one's the green. You can get it to strobe.
Ray, I use the 3M lock.
Yeah.
That's where you can put that on all of your drones.
Yeah.
And you can change lights from one to another if you want to. Because these are $100 a set of 4.
That's that click lock stuff. That's both sides are the same, and it just snaps together.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Hey, Ron.
Oh,
Hey,
hey, Ron.
how's it going?
Hey, Ron.
Oh no, I don't have my Hawaiian shirt on.
And I got Brian too. Let's welcome Brian.
Every day.
Brian.
Hey.
Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Doing.
Ron,
How's it
how
going?
are you, Brian?
Brian,
I'm here.
good to see you again. Mitch,
Good,
hey
good
Ron,
video this
Steve,
morning, Brian.
Dennis.
I like that
Trey.
Galveston sunrise you did.
How's it going, everybody?
Good,
I-
Ron.
I neglected to put my Hawaiian shirt on.
Hey, Brian, I like that Galveston sunrise you did, partner. You had the hotel that I stayed in a couple years back in your video.
No, I read that email.
Yeah.
That,
Ron, I didn't have your email address, or I would have sent the link to you.
Oh, that's fine. I'll put it in the chat. You can have it. I don't care. People can spam me.
I put mine in there. I don't care who emails me.
Yeah.
Not like I listen to him anyway. Mostly bill collectors anyway. What's App Sally? Anybody know what App Sally is? I get a lot of emails from them. I don't know who the hell App Sally is. I never heard of them.
There. Put my email in the chat. I can grab it. I'll delete it a little bit. Of course, I don't care, people. Spam me all you want.
Well, I would only send you the link to this to come in and join us.
No, that's fine. No, not you. People in the randoms in the chat.
I got it if you want to take it out.
All right, cool.
Got you on that spam list, Ron. You're good.
All right. Sign me up for all the porn sites, right?
As long as they're free. Don't
Yeah,
give me
you
the
know.
ones where I got to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Chris O.
Who the hell's paying for porn in 2020?
Chris.
Hey, Chris.
So, Jim, did you notice that they have Malabar Road closed right before the park?
Yeah. They're doing a whole neighborhood out there. They're repaving the roads, too.
They're rebuilding that bridge. Man, that's got to be very inconvenient for everybody that lives down that way.
That is, it's going to go to 4 lanes eventually, but it's going to be a trouble spot until it does. They just keep building without thought to, you know what I mean?
Well, the good news for me is I can get to the park because the blockade is right there at the park entrance, so it doesn't affect me because I come in from the west down the parkway. Yeah, so I got lucky. Some of the guys I fly with there used to be a mile away. Now it takes them. They have to drive 10 miles to get around that whole mess.
We've got growing pains here.
Sounds like Houston.
They're building like it's savage. I just don't even want to talk about it. Just frustrating. So for anybody who was looking for that SDK site, let me put that in the chat for the Mavic Mini SDK, if anybody cares.
I wish I could. Wish I could code.
Yeah, I don't plan on doing any development.
I wish.
It's for the to allow it to do panoramas now. But it's a DJI approved software development kit, so.
Well, somebody in the chat mentioned that look out for Lychee to come out with a version of their app for it now that the SDK is out.
Because it doesn't have waypoints yet.
Yeah, once they put out that SDK, any third-party developer should be able to port their stuff over to it.
Now, I was surprised to see this, and I'll tell you why. If you get to their enterprise drones, they want $5,000 to access the SDK. There's an onboard SDK, a payload SDK, and a software SDK, obviously. But they want $5,000 each yeah. So all these guys are the guys who developed the gas spectrometers and stuff like that. They spent money just adapting them to DJI drones. But I don't know. I think my dream in the future is honestly to buy one of those DJI S1000 kits, just the kit, and then make my own damn drone from there. Like
get an RG pilot controller, and away you go.
I would go with a Cube, and then iNav or one of those.
Well, that stuff's all open source, and
I know. I've been talking about it for years with you.
All the big commercial guys that are not DJI are using either RG Pilot or some fork of it that gives you an amazing capability. No licensing fees, no nothing. It's all open source software.
Is Bob trying to start something?
No, I think I got his answer right here. They sat there and told me, it's going to be there. Because I called them up and I had it, So I said, send the damn thing. Enough is enough. So it's supposed to be here tomorrow by 9 p.m.
Uh-oh. You better have a live stream tomorrow at 10 p.m. to let us in on what happened.
Well, you know something? They already told me that the FPV camera on the front of it is not horizontally perfect.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, and that's something they replaced, Brian. That was magically not working properly.
What was the matter that originally that you sent it in? Sorry for me not knowing, but
The flight controller board for us, the flight controller board inside it was dead.
We lost you,
muted.
Jim.
He muted himself.
Yeah,
We lost you, Jim.
Come on, guys. Read his lips. Read his lips.
yeah.
I can hear you, Jim.
If we read his lips, we have to have the bloopers up. There you go. You back, Jim?
Hey,
You
Ron.
muted yourself.
Next
sir.
time I go live, I'm doing a Hawaiian shirt, man. I think you got
Oh,
mine.
dude. Hey, I mean, I don't mean to start a trend, but I just that's what I wear, man.
It's a
All
done
day.
deal, man. I got like 3 of them. I never wear. So
I'll just do this.
I'll tell you, Ron.
Ukulele.
Oh,
Okay,
I
Dennis
Let him
is
tell us
going to
his story,
sing.
'cause when you
Okay.
were talking, you
I'm
muted
Hawaiian
yourself.
now.
Is Jim back yet?
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, I
No?
can hear you now.
I put it on the Brio microphone. I told you it hates the Yeti. I don't know why.
Wow.
The brand.
Anyway, the flight controller board was bad. The drone was in perfect condition, as I put up on videos and all that stuff. And then they call it the main controller board. It's $1,500 for the main controller board. So they wind up wanting to charge me $3,000 because we've shown it before. I'm not going to go over it again. They showed pictures of basically a destroyed drone, and that's where all the aggravation came from. Actual broken parts. Looked like they took a screwdriver to take the battery compartment apart. You guys remember that, right?
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Oh, yeah.
So when you send something to DJI, we all know that they say when you fill out that repair order, it's repair or replace at their discretion. But that wasn't supposed to be the case with enterprise equipment. First of all, I never agreed to that because I didn't sign the thing. I sent it to my dealer. So no, it never got squared out. And if anything, I could show you the emails where I got yelled at because they thought I was emailing them too much. My continual emails. All I wanted to know was why the serial numbers don't match and why that don't look like my drone.
Where the hell's my drone? That's all I'm
Yeah.
asking.
That's it.
Wow. Well, I know when I don't know, like when I got my Mavic Air 2, it came defective out of the box. Like it wouldn't even take off. I had to send it back immediately. And one of the things, the problem was, and they were good about it. They replaced it, had to re-register it, pay the $5 again. But what I had to check on, and what they didn't do, is they did not transfer over the Flymore package to the new, or not Flymore, I'm sorry, the Care Refresh. So like they're kind of either they're understaffed right now or something's going on with them. But I had to call them and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's not transferred over." I'm like, "What? Would you please do that for me? That'd be great." You know, I did pay for it, but they did eventually. But they're right now their return and customer service right now is probably a little.
I know
under the weather.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah.
On those emails, were you emailing DJI or the enterprise company?
The enterprise company.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say if you were emailing DJI, you're dealing with, I guess, mainland China, or they got sites here in the U.S., don't they?
It was in California,
California.
Syracuse,
Okay.
California. Yeah. And I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. They said it's his drone because look at the tape on the arms. That's his color tape. The tape on the arms of the drone. That's how we know it's his. So I guess internal serial numbers mean nothing. All the flight controllers and all these things have their own serial numbers. There's even, by each ESC, there's a little tiny dot piece of paper that they'll know if it ever gets wet, that dot changes color.
Yep.
So that they can turn around and say to you, no,
Yep.
this has been exposed to water.
Yep.
Little things we don't know that DJI does ahead of time to try and claim your claim is full of crap.
Right.
You know, because there are so many of them. Just when the ESC dies, you don't know it until it's fallen out of the sky. That's one of the problems that remote ID is going to stumble over. You know, they're trying to bring security. That's the whole idea of remote ID, was security. That, you know, Mitch, you know more than anybody. General aircraft are inspected before they're allowed to fly.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you have to have an annual once a year on any airplane. If you don't have your annual, you're breaking the law.
Yet we've got 55-pound drones in the air that haven't been inspected by anybody.
Yeah. I don't know if any of you guys ever owned an airplane, but some of those annuals can nail you. They have ADs, airworthiness directives, as well. Which
have you ever failed one?
Pardon me?
Have you ever failed one or had something flag where you had to have fixed? And not.
Oh, I had a Beech Baron, which is a twin-engine airplane, and they came out with an AD on the fuselage. It cost me $30,000. And you have no choice. You have no choice because if you don't do it, the airplane's worthless. You can't.
Was it like 1/3 of the whole price of the plane?
No, the Baron is a very expensive airplane.
Okay, so it's still a chunk of change though.
Yeah,
even if it's $250,000.
Yeah, my Baron was a 1977, and I had it in the 90s and early 2000s. So it was probably 20 plus years old, and it was worth about $300,000.
Yeah. That's my plane of choice, Mitch, in Microsoft Flight Simulator, by the way.
Baron. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great airplane. Great airplane.
Hey, Mitch, you sure they didn't make that movie about you with Tom Cruise was smuggling the Sandinistas and the drugs?
No, but I tell you, I have flown in and out of many of those little islands down there, and
wow.
There's an island in the Bahamas called Cat Island. Have you ever heard of Cat Island?
Never heard of it.
Just southeast of Eleuthera, and
I know where it's at.
That's a big drug warehousing island, and they have a place on the island called the Goat Farm, and that's where all the drugs. So we rented a house for a week on Cat Island on the most beautiful beach you've ever seen, and it's a place called Fernandez Bay, and they have one airport in this island, and the house that we rented was right on the beach, and it was great, and it was me, my wife, and another couple. We loaded up. I had a Cessna 310 at the time. We loaded up the airplane, overloaded the airplane. We had scuba gear. We had 4 people, luggage, and we flew over there to this airport. And the instructions told you where the potholes in the runway were, so that when you were landing, you knew that when you got around the center of the runway, you had to stay over to the right side because there were big potholes. And the house came with this orange Volkswagen thing. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They used to float.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Yeah, they floated.
Yeah, Volkswagen thing, and they told us that the keys, the orange thing would be at the airport. So we flew in, found the thing. We get in, and we go to the house, and it was gorgeous. So the next day, we decide that we want to go scuba diving on the very south end of the island. So we get in the Volkswagen thing, and we don't know where the hell we're going, but how you can't get too lost. It's a long, skinny island. We drive along.
Small island.
Yeah, we drive past the goat farm, and 3 nights later, okay, at midnight, we hear a bunch of loud knocking on our door, wakes us all up. There are 30 big, bad-looking people out there wondering if we were near the goat farm on a particular day. And evidently somebody stole something, and they were thinking it was us. It was the scariest moment of my life that night. And we convinced them it wasn't us, and they went away. But I never went back to that place to vacation after that. All around the airport was rusty, old, abandoned 55-gallon drums where they used to store fuel for these mule airplanes that were coming in and out bringing drugs. Terrible. The most beautiful beach you've ever seen in your life.
Oh yeah, I've been to Eleuthera, but not
Yeah.
Cat Island, but Eleuthera, yeah. I mean, that's some clear water down there, man.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And then you just south, just the fact that we clear in at Eleuthera. We fly into the airport at Eleuthera to clear into customs, and then fly from, hop over to Cat Island from there.
How far between islands, Mitch?
80 miles, 60 miles, not far at all.
Almost the same distance coming from the coast.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you go just west out of West Palm Beach, and 80 miles, you're in Freeport.
Yeah. Beautiful diving over there.
Oh, yeah. When there's Chub Key. You heard of Chub Key? There's the islands kind of halfway between Nassau, Grand Bahama Island, and Freeport is a chain of islands called the Bury Islands. And it's a horseshoe-shaped string of islands. And the northernmost two islands are owned by cruise ship companies. The first one is Royal Caribbean's private island, and the second one is one of the other company's private island. Way down at the bottom of the horseshoe is Chub, and it's on what they call the tongue of the ocean. And if you were to look at an aerial photograph, a satellite picture of the island, you would see a dark blue tongue-shaped thing that comes right in just offshore of Chub Key, and that's 10,000. That's a 10,000 foot deep kind of trench, and you could go 1 mile offshore on the south shore of Chub Key. What is that?
Somebody's printing.
Somebody's printing.
Yeah, that's my printer.
And anyway, you could get on a dive boat, go 1 mile south offshore, anchor in 90 feet of water, dive down, and there was a 10,000 foot cliff.
Yeah.
Right there underwater. And because the Gulf Stream constantly came up through there, the visibility was 150 feet, gin clear water. Fabulous diving.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing over in Hawaii, diving over there. I've dove just about all the islands there. And one of the most wildest times, and we were there, we dove over Molokini. And that's the same thing. You come to the edge of that little bay and where the crater had blown out, and it's come up, you've got this crater, and you're going down, and then it's 5,000 feet straight on down from there. You're swimming along the edge, and all of a sudden it just goes nowhere. You're just looking at blackness, and you're going, whoa, what's this?
The abyss.
It's a neat feeling to hang out there. And you're a diver, so you know that the deeper you go, the less you feel the pressure changes, because they're relatively much greater from the surface to 30 feet than they are from, say, 100 feet to 150 feet. You don't have to clear. So I was hanging out off of this abyss, and my attention got caught by a hammerhead shark was swimming by. Mm-hmm. So this hammerhead shark swim, and I'm watching this hammer, and I'm facing away from the wall, and the wall is behind me. And when I turned around, I was at 160 feet.
Ooh, that's not good.
I went down and I didn't know it. I turned around and I got back up in a hurry and I decompressed for quite a while on the way back to the boat.
That's too deep, man. Nah.
It is too deep. Yeah.
Too deep.
You don't realize it. That's just it.
I've gone snorkeling and whatever, where I can go down where I can take a breath and whatever. We're talking 30, 40 feet, and my ears are blowing out. I'm coming back to the surface as fast as I can.
You're a hell of a free diver if you go down 30, 40 feet. That is
that's easy to do, Ron. The thing to do is you equalize on the way going down. You learn to equalize, because I dive free diving here along the coast. I used to 45 feet here.
Oh, see, I'm probably 30 feet is probably exaggerating. I mean, we were snorkeling or whatever. You can see kind of the reef and everything. And I went down and was able to, use the snorkel for like a kind of a short breath or whatever. And then I'm like, no, my ears are freaking blowing out of my head, and I'm heading right to the back. Right back.
You can feel the pressure at 30 feet, so.
Yeah,
that's 30 feet. You go from 1 to 2 atmospheres right off the bat.
Yeah.
Every 30 feet, it halves itself. So from 30 to 60 feet.
33 feet.
33 feet, yeah. So when you get down to 100 feet, the difference between 100 and 150 feet is like the difference from the surface to, say, 10 feet.
See, I'll never know that because, like I said, 30 feet was probably exaggerating. I was probably maybe 20. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a fish. Time to come back up.
Yeah, it's tough because what happens is your lungs the air in your lungs starts to compress.
It's a different feeling. Yeah, it's
full deep breath of air at the surface is only half filled lungs at 33 feet. So you really start feeling these guys that go for these free diving records where they take them down a rope on it with a weight and they go down to 400, 500, 600 feet. I don't know how the hell anybody can ever live through something like that.
No.
Well, they're super saturating their lungs before they go down. They're just super oxygenating their lungs before they head down.
Yeah, I've seen them do that. They like hyperventilate almost and really store in the air, the oxygen.
Yeah.
Hey,
no thanks.
This picture here is describing what the thing is doing because you don't have attitude mode, and what happens when you have a weak GPS signal, how it automatically goes into its own attitude mode.
Diving into the water?
No,
that almost looks like it's skimming across the water.
It's swimming.
That picture there is showing you that the vision position system isn't working when it's reflecting off of water.
I thought that was your new RC boat.
But the point of it was that, because I know guys were saying, well, it doesn't have attitude mode. Well, when you lose GPS signal, it's going to go into attitude mode.
Yeah, that's a Phantom, right?
Yeah.
Right, but they're talking about the Mavic too.
Right now, outboard.
Well, the Phantom absolutely has attitude mode, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but the vision positioning systems on any of them doesn't work very well over water.
Really?
Yeah, because of the smooth surface.
Yep.
Oh,
if it's unsmooth, does it work better?
It works better, but it's still not like over ground.
Okay.
It doesn't get the same reflections.
So like a pond would be bad. I fly over Lake Erie a lot. I don't turn it off. I leave it on.
You'd probably be okay. That's, rippling.
Lake Erie's kind of rough. Yeah.
Wind-driven surface water.
Right.
But
I mean, it's
don't do it with
like that.
Don't do it with the Skydio 2.
Yeah, I watched Billy Kyle's video. That's why I decided
the
not to buy that
Skydio
drone.
2 will land if it gets over water.
Yeah, that's Billy Kyle's video was the reason I did not buy the Skydio 2. That thing just took a dive randomly.
No.
I think that drone is undependable and unpredictable, but that's my opinion.
I agree with you. I do.
I got
You're right, Jim. Vision positioning over water, not good.
Yeah, it says it, right? But we knew that.
Sure.
Because it's reflecting back at itself.
The only way that it does sort of help is if you can get close enough to the water for the prop wash to create a bunch of ripples.
You get vortex ring state. Now you screw yourself in.
Yeah, it'll do that.
So what do you suggest? You leave it on, or you turn it off?
I've done that. I've done that, Jim, with the Inspire 1, with the camera 6 inches off the water.
I've flown it when I was doing those kiteboarders out of Sebastian. But I had to, because the way those kiteboarders, those kites move around, man, they got so many strings on them, you're scared to death.
You got to stay away from them.
Yeah. That's tough. But if it's reflecting back at itself, it doesn't know what the hell to do. Now, I found with the Inspire, it was kicking in at 26 feet, reflecting back to the water. But they say what do you say, 10 meters, that the vision positioning system, which was the first and only system they used to have on the Inspires. We all call it optical flow, but it was their vision position sensor.
Yep.
Well, that's pretty close, because that would have been 34 feet roughly for that 10 meters.
Well, the Phantom 4 was actually more advanced than the Inspire. It had front sensors on it, at least.
Yeah.
Tomas said he means 300 feet, or he meant 3 feet. What do we?
Yeah. He meant 3 feet. That's as far as he can go down.
Oh, diving.
He's struggling in the bathtub.
There you go.
So what's next on your list, Jim? I know you had SD cards on your list. What else were you planning on talking about? I know we're way off on other topics here.
The junk of the Mavic 3. You have to understand, ever since the Autel fight came out, DJI is sitting there now and patenting everything they've got in their arsenal. So that nonsense rumor that the Mavic 3 was coming out was a 2017 patent drawing that DJI filed in 2020. And then everywhere I'm seeing, Mavic 3 coming out. No, that was not for a Mavic 3. If you look at the patent, it says 2017 right on it.
I thought it looked like the Mavic 2 Pro.
Right.
Somebody said bigger camera. Looks the same to me.
There's no FCC filings. There hasn't been anything that has been out since they released technically the Mini coming out. And that's the last thing that was filed.
They're going to have to get creative. I'm sorry, that Mavic Air 2 it's like right on the border of like professional. Like, I don't know what you come out with next, but it has to be, what are you going to make me want to spend $1,500, $2,000 on a drone for when you just gave me a drone for $700? That's pretty damn good.
X-ray.
Zoom
X-ray.
X-ray.
You can look through walls.
No, it's going to be a 40 megapixel 1-inch sensor with zoom.
You know what? Piss on that. But I gotta, I got 4K 60, right now with HDR and 48 megapixels now.
Exactly. I'd be happy with another 20 megapixel camera next to a 640 FLIR.
There you go.
Now
that's what I'd be happy.
Now you're talking $7,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, those have got to come down by now.
The FLIR View Pro camera is still $5,000 right now.
Just for the camera, it's $5,000.
Just a little, like the handheld FLIR. Like, isn't there like a little handheld FLIR? Like, what was that?
There are handheld FLIRs, but now that FLIR One app that you put on your phone, that little FLIR.
Whatever. Ken Herron had it. He had the little handheld FLIR, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, they've made them for electrical contractors for years.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, those have got to come down in price by now.
The Autel Evo has a 640 FLIR camera on it.
It's a FLIR boson, though. They're blowing up the image.
It's not that resolution that you're wanting. It's less.
It's 640,
it's
isn't it?
blown up. It's a FLIR boson camera.
Oh, so it's blown up to 640.
Yeah, there's the FLIR Lepton, there's the boson, and then there's the FLIR Pro, which is naturally 640 512.
Okay.
It's kind of like
the Lepton is the one that I put in the Mavic.
The XT2 has the $13,000 XT2 has the FLIR View Pro on it.
Yeah, but the Lepton is the one they put in the
Mavic 2 Enterprise.
Enterprise is what I was trying to think.
You got to be 20 feet from something to actually see it.
It's kind of like the sensors that are in the Evo and now in the Mavic 2 Pro, 48 megapixel. It's a 12 megapixel sensor, and all they're doing is taking the pixels on each side of it,
Right.
and merging them together, and that's how they're coming up with their 48. What I would like to see is if they came up the Mavic 3, to have a 1-inch sensor, 20 megapixel. Really, that's about all we need. If it had zoom capability, but the most important thing would be a mechanical shutter on it, like the Phantom.
I'd agree with that, and I'd say a true 1-inch sensor.
Yeah.
That doesn't line skip or anything else.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris Hope, Brenton Henley.
That's always been a sticking point because normally you have to cool those cameras off. You've got to cool the sensor off somehow.
Jim, Adrian just popped in.
Yeah.
Hello, Adrian. And that's the biggest problem too, Jim, is they can't cool them.
Right.
They can't keep them. They can't make them run cool.
With the Micro Four Thirds cameras, they at least have room to put fans in. With these, I don't know how they might have reached their limits here with that platform.
Adrian.
Although you got so many sensors keep getting smaller and smaller for the phones.
True, and for their cameras, to make it a bigger electronic size, but all they got to do is just make a little bit bigger chassis and put a little bit bigger camera in it, and then they can put a cooling fan in it. I mean, that's what they did with the Mavic 2. They made just a little bit bigger drone.
Isn't that the Mini's problem now? It doesn't have a fan?
Yeah, I don't think the Mini has any
no
fan.
fan in the Mini, that's for sure.
No.
The Mini counts on airflow.
The problem
you can hold it up and look right through it, for Christ's sake.
The problem's going to be with the any camera. It's cooling the sensor in the gimbal. That's going to be the problem.
It's got the little screen doors where the vision sensors are supposed to be.
Well, they can put a fan in the gimbal.
But that's where the size comes up. Now we're enlarging it.
Right.
Well, that's what I just said. Make the chassis for the camera a little bit bigger and put a fan in it.
They didn't want to? What? It would have been too close to the Mavic Pro, Mavic.
Now you're going to have to now you're going to have to up the motors and everything on the gimbal in order to power that larger capacity that's on there, though.
As long as they balance it, the same motors will make it move. It doesn't take a lot of power to move the gimbal. I mean, look at the size of this one. That's ridiculously small.
Yeah.
The size compared to the Mavic 2 Zoom, which is larger than that, or the Pro, which is much larger than that.
Yeah.
Physical size, they could have easily put fans in it. They could go a little bit bigger yet. The Mavic 2 is bigger than the Mavic Pro, and they did that for a reason, to accommodate the bigger gimbal, right? The bigger camera, give it a little more flight time so it could carry a little bit bigger battery. So the drone had to be bigger to be able to carry the bigger battery, right? They could go just a little bit bigger. None of us would care. That's the way I think about it.
Is that a vent I'm seeing behind your camera there?
Where?
On that drone, behind the camera. Is that a vent? An actual vent?
Yes.
Okay.
This has fans in the body. This is a Mavic Pro Platinum. And then it has vents in the back too.
So they came back with fans back as far as the Pro, Mavic Pro.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the original Mavic Pro, when you boot it up and turn it on, if you just sit there and listen to it, you can hear the fans running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did not know that, but suspected it because I never heard of a heat problem with those drones.
Well, the cure to that is just don't fly in Florida in the middle of the summer.
Didn't I hear somebody in the Midwest? Was it Texas, Brian? Weren't we hearing?
Likely. I'm not even flying my Mavic 2 in this heat. I mean, it's just Mavic Air 2 is up in the morning, and that's it, because those batteries are almost the same.
Nothing will wake you up quicker than seeing that overheating on your screen.
I flew my Mavic 2 Pro just the other day, and it was like 90. I was out at the airfield, and it had to be 95 degrees. And I was all by myself out there because everyone else had left, and some spectator drove up and was watching, and he saw my drone and started asking about it. So I put it in the air for a minute and literally raced it around in sport mode just to show him like how fast it would move and how long it took to stop once you got it moving and so forth. I didn't fly it 5 minutes. And when I brought it back in and hand caught it, the bottom of the chassis was warm and the motors were hot. I mean, hot to the touch.
Yep.
It was like.
The thing about it is, Mel, on those batteries, mine failed in mid-August last year. And after looking at that Airdata app, they were failing for like 2 months in that heat. And I just didn't know it. I mean,
well, what's the limit that DJI says we're supposed to? What's the top?
104 degrees is what they state. 40 centigrade.
91 is my limit.
For the max temperature ambient?
Yeah, max is 104.
I mean, I'll fly in 91 and no higher, because if it's any higher than that, I'm going to see all kind of heat warnings in Airdata app.
Now, if we look at Airdata, it actually shows green up to about 130 degrees for the battery. But you don't know that when you're flying it.
Oh, okay.
You have no way of knowing how hot the damn battery is.
I just saw a good one this past weekend. Who was it? International Drone, Jackie Drone. They were flying their. It was over here in Spain. They had a video. They were flying their Mavic 2 Zoom, and he was doing it in sport mode, and it literally fell out of the sky. And luckily it was right in front of him, but he was in sport mode, and it was just in pieces. But the battery literally exploded.
Wow!
It was 95 degrees. The battery exploded.
Is that what caused it to fall out of the sky, or did the battery explode from the impact?
I'd say, yeah, probably the battery coming loose first thing.
Did he actually have a video of that?
He does. Well, he showed the drone going over. You saw it going past them. Right. The next thing you hear them, they're all looking at it like, oh my.
So there's no other footage of
the blow up.
Yeah, no, there's no actual video of the blow up.
Oh, damn.
But it was about.
I'd like to see that too.
It was about 40 or 50 feet in the air.
I hear you. I'd love to see it too.
Where's that button at, Bill? I want to make sure I don't push it.
All right. Adrian, what are you doing, sir?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Hey, how are you?
How's it going?
What's going on, Jim, Ron, Brian, Mel, Mitch?
Oh my God! Busted all crowd. Have you flown in this heat, Adrian?
No, I have not. It's been horrible. It's been storming every day, man. I cannot get enough flying at all.
I don't know if you had it, Mitch, but I had a hell of a thunderstorm going on here, lightning included, just before the show.
Yeah,
I've been getting that every day.
But I went out to the park this morning, and I fully expected it to be underwater because of the rain we had yesterday.
Yeah,
it was not even soggy out there. Evidently, all that stuff completely missed that park yesterday. Go figure. It was beautiful. 3-mile-an-hour winds this morning. We were out there for about 2.5 hours, flying everything that would take off the ground. It was a blast.
They put a roof on the house they're building next to me. They put one of those new metal roofs on it. Jesus Christ, they were done in 2 hours flat.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Brand new house.
That's 100-year roof, man.
Yep.
It'll never go away.
Yep. 2 hours flat. And all I have is the pictures of them finally finishing it, because they start at 6 a.m. banging hammers.
Well,
yeah, they have to.
They have a bunch of lovely neighbors.
Yeah.
By noon, it's too hot to be on a roof.
They quit by 3 here. They're gone at 3 o'clock. In Florida, anyway. I don't know where the limit is for anybody else heat-wise. I don't know if that's a thing, but they've always quit at 3.
We've only been around in the low 90s here. It hasn't been super hot, and actually it was pretty nice out there this morning.
Well, I know in California when I was a young guy working construction, 3 o'clock came, it was time to drag up. But we started at 6 in the morning.
Right.
5, daylight. We're swinging hammers at daylight, standing walls, whatever, pouring concrete, whatever it was we were doing. And by 3 o'clock, that's beer time. On hot days where it gets like 110, 115, we were done by 10 or noon.
Ron, I do have a question for you, Ron.
Yes, sir.
I noted that every time I see you, you're always wearing some kind of Hawaiian shirt. What's up with that?
They got on them for that today, too.
That's what I wear, man. All day,
catch.
every day. I got the Hawaiian shirts going. That's all that's in my closet. That's all you'll ever see me in.
Okay.
I got 30 of them. That's all you'll ever see me in. Yeah.
Looking like Pee Wee Herman, okay.
I've heard Ace Ventura.
Oh, yeah, definitely Ace Ventura.
That's a Magnum fan. There it is.
Yeah, Magnum PI, Ace Ventura.
Hey, Jim.
Doc Brown. Hey, Doc Brown when he was in the future. Yeah. Had a Hawaiian shirt.
Hey, Jim, can I put in that link to that video for that crash?
Brother.
Yeah, here we go.
You don't have to ask, just pop it in. You guys got something you want to show?
I will
What's up,
say
Steve
this about
Carpenter?
the heat. The heat with the, which is actually, I guess, after thinking about it, it's kind of stupid, but maybe now it's pretty impressive, is I did a hyperlapse with the Mavic Air 2 just sitting in one spot. It was like 85 degrees. And, so it's not getting wind cooled. I just sat at one spot for 20 minutes. I brought it down. This thing was pretty hot, man. But I didn't have any, battery problems. I know Bill from Coast to Coast Drones has been having battery issues and stuff like that. And I didn't think about it until after the fact. But that was pretty stupid. That thing's sitting up there in one spot in the heat for 20 minutes, no air cooling whatsoever. But I brought that down. I went to fold that thing up, burnt the crap out of my hand.
Yeah, you're better off flying than you are just hovering.
It sounds stupid now, but it was like, well, I guess that's pretty impressive that the thing didn't give me any warning or anything. Just sitting up there baking.
That's what happened to mine, Ron. I actually tried to do that with my Mini. Mm-hmm. And before I even took off, I was sitting down on the ground just baking because it told me to do a battery update for like 15 minutes. And then I took it up 150 feet up in the air and I let it hover for about 10 minutes. And it just took off, FPV gone, and it just took off on me like I was about to just go somewhere. I wasn't even controlling it or anything. Thank God that I brought it back. I almost lost it.
Oh, that's
lost it.
That's all bad there.
Brian, you got, okay. You were able to put that up.
Yeah. What's up, Rick Albert? How you doing, Chief? And everybody in the chat. I cannot see the chat. I'm actually on my iPad, so. That's why you guys can actually see this good-looking guy so good tonight. Looking guy right here. This
good-looking shirt, man.
Right here. Thank you, man. Got the titties all propped up. I'm looking good this evening. Sorry, Mel. Hey, Mel, listen. I got my training bra, so you good. Nothing gonna pop out. You're good.
Hey, Brian, do we see anything in that video that?
I've got it up on another screen right now. I'm waiting. I'm trying to find the exact point where it bails on him. So, yeah, I think it's about to happen here.
I don't think you can't hear that audio, right?
No. I don't anyway.
Okay. I don't want to do what happened. Ron says he sent Mel a video with an Epidemic sound on it, and Mel got a copyright claim.
Yes.
Courtesy. Boy, Ron felt bad about that one, man.
And I told him, I said, you know what, Ron, that's really not your fault, even though you said it was YouTube music, because when I got the email from Google like 10 minutes after my stream ended, because Epidemic Sound is all about it, they're on it. So I go back to the video and I look, and sure enough, right in the description, Ron had it typed right in there, Epidemic Sound music. If I'd have looked at that, I would have turned it off when I played the video, but I didn't even look at the description.
You can have them remove that. Have you done that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes away after a certain period of time too, because I've had that happen to me.
Did you actually
what I wondered is,
or just a claim?
Well, I had to actually remove the sound from the music from that portion of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, then Epidemic can't get any claim to my revenue from the monetization of the
Right,
live
but you didn't actually get a strike, did you? You didn't
I
get
got a claim.
You just got claimed.
Yeah, it doesn't become a strike until you don't do anything about it, and then they win and they get the money from your monetization, and then it's a strike.
I got a copyright strike for a
Claim
thumbnail.
or a strike?
A strike for a thumbnail.
Oh,
one
wow.
time. Using a thumbnail.
How do you get a strike for a thumbnail?
I just wanted to look for a thumbnail. I Googled a picture, whatever, used the thing on Google. Dude, I got a copyright strike. Not claim, strike.
Yep. It's in this world we live in. If you don't own the data, you best not put it out there.
What if we have the Epidemic sound if we pay for it?
If you pay for it, like if I was paying for an account with Epidemic and played Ron's video, it'd have been no problem. But I don't have an account with Epidemic.
I only use YouTube Music right now. Like that's all I'm ever going to use.
Wow, there's the battery.
Yeah.
Now is that from the impact or did it?
That looks like a blowout.
See the way it's lifted off?
Yeah, but
there's no way of telling for us.
The front of it too looked like it was a little melted.
No. Hang on, back that up just a little bit. Back it up a little bit.
I'm going to see if he turns it around. So
well, no, what I wanted to see is he's walking up with his drone, and the guy he's way over there. The battery's way back here.
But
so that battery exploded and flew out of the drone, and then the drone kept just kind of right.
Yeah, the battery came out.
So the drone pirouetted after that.
Yeah,
I think. Oh yeah, he says mega bad. So I think what happened is what you're talking about. The battery overheated, came apart.
Because when he walks up on it, all that's there is a drone.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow.
The battery went one direction and the drone went another.
Yeah, the drone kept going in the direction it was flying.
Right.
And it doesn't say it in the video, but I asked Jackie in the comments. She said it was 95 degrees there that day. And he was in sport mode.
They say the battery came out of it in the video.
Yeah.
So the battery got overheated and expanded, came out, popped itself out.
Yeah, if it puffs up like that. Now, it'd be interesting to know how low he ran the battery down. You know, whether he was really pushing it. You know, down to 1%, 5%. Lipos will swell. You get the most swell out of them when you really start to drain them down near nothing. That's when you really puff up a lipo.
Well, the thing about that, Mitch, though, is like in my case last summer, I've always and still to this day fly my batteries to not much less than 40%.
That's smart. 30%.
I do the same
and
thing.
They still overheat
30.
I
do 30.
Yeah, 30%. I'm getting my butt home, man, no doubt.
Good night, Steve Carpenter.
Good night, Steve.
I'll see you later, Steve Carpenter.
Steve in here? Shoot.
See you later, Steve Carpenter.
There's a number of different manufacturers of these lipo cells, and they're sold to the FPV community in countless different name brands. So many of them the cells come from the same manufacturer. These people just buy the cells, package them into their own batteries, stick their name on it. And there's a few brands out there that you can always count on to swell. They're just shit batteries. And there's other batteries out there that are terrific. And you don't know unless you read a lot and read the reviews and look it up. And it's possible for DJI, they don't manufacture their cells. They buy their cells from
somebody. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. They don't manufacture the batteries.
No, so it's entirely possible for them to get a batch of shitty cells, manufacture them into their batteries, and have a certain series of their batteries just starting to fail. And I think that's what happened to them with the Mavic Air 2.
Well, Ken Dono had that happen with the Mavic 2 series batteries. He had a couple of them start expanding, and they were fairly new, like 5-10 flights on them or whatever, Yep.
Yeah.
Andrew, the link is in there, buddy. And let me see if I can just bring it up. JAQ, is it? Travel?
Yeah, Jackie, which goes by, yeah, JAQ, travel.
Well, Jim, I want to say goodnight to everybody and you. And
all right.
Thanks for having me in. I always enjoy it.
They had that bad batch in 2018 because
when it first came out.
Right. I had it. I had the problem too.
Adios, guys.
I'll see you later, Mitch.
Take it easy.
Good night, Mitch.
Night, Mitch.
Jim, good night. Ron, everybody.
Good night.
Adrian, Al.
Thanks for coming, Mel.
I'm leaving because Al
Thanks for
came
coming,
in.
Mitch.
I'll see you later, Mitch. I'll see you later, Mel.
Take it easy, Mel.
Take care, Mel.
Mr. Aldias.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How you doing, Chief? What's going on, Dre?
So they were flying it, and the battery just overheated and came apart. It swelled, like Mitch was talking about.
Like, yeah, and it's another thing too. Like Mitch says, if he had it below 40%, even 30%, they're going to overheat quicker. Even I don't care how much cooling they have by as fast as they were going at 40 whatever miles an hour.
Why is that, Brian?
Most of the vent stuff is made for the main board, but not the batteries.
There's no cooling at all in that area.
Nope. I mean, you get some cooling if you're, from the props, but I mean, it's so minimal, especially in direct sun like that. No, that's not good.
That's something we seriously don't think about. And I know that when I look at the battery temps on Airdata, it's scary. Let me see if I can pull that up.
145, 147.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah,
Jim.
Yes.
Cool.
I got me some new ones.
There you go.
Those are perfect. I have those. Those are nice.
I got two, and I have two more coming this way.
I think those are the best. Now.
Oh, I do too. Loom Tube can kiss my ass. They're like way too expensive.
Firehouse is all different ballpark.
Yeah, I've always gotten the Firehouse.
They're pretty expensive.
I started off with the
thing about
the Flytrons, but they were not good enough to hold the battery charge.
The thing about the Firehouse is, you got to buy each color. With that one that Adrian's got, like I've got, you got all three colors right there, and it's. I mean,
that is the nice part about them because I have two of those with Adrian. But I think because of his YouTube demonstration of it about 4 or 5 months back is why I got those. But brightness compared to the Firehouse ones I have, whole different zip code.
Did you hear that, Aldias?
What was that?
Did you hear what Dre said? Dre actually is a big fan of mine. Did you hear that?
I did
That's
hear
right.
That.
Hey,
Al,
he got it because of me.
He suckered me. See, this is what happens when you listen to people from Florida.
Aldia, learn from Mr. Dre Crawford, all right?
I learn from everybody.
Hey,
Jim, on that thing, go to battery cells.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I touched on it, and it took me to the hottest battery I ever had. It was a Phantom 4.
163.
Let's see the volts. Did it get? No, that was just flying around the house. What was the weather?
Yeah, it must have been a hot day.
It was 87 with 60 degrees. That's not bad. At all.
You guys in Florida and back east are going through batteries a lot.
Well, it says feel like
those issues up here in North
Jim, go back to
California.
that page.
Yeah.
It says feel like 93.
Yeah.
At least I haven't had any.
And actually, that feels like temperature does count when you're out there too.
I think temperature and the length of time you're flying.
Yep.
Let's see what the battery showed us. It was 21-minute flight. Let's look at the cells.
Ooh,
no,
you're good.
Nothing extraordinary here.
No.
Mm-mm. And this is all stuff Airdata gives you that you can turn around at any point in the flight and see what it was.
I love Airdata, man.
Yeah.
That's a great
and then this is simply color coded here. I love that. And then you go over to G, press on it. Okay, at 15 minutes in, I was 31 feet high, blah, blah, blah. There's your voltages. It's a wealth of information. It really is. And if you go into, let's see, if you go just into general, you can go into the overview, it'll show you where you flew, and it'll give you tips. Now, if there's something wrong inside your flight, not everything shows up on your screen, on your on-screen display of your drone. Like us, let's go for equipment. Let's go to drones. Go to the matrice, and we'll see some of the flights it had that were real problems.
By the way, a little bit of an addition to this.
Yeah.
The Mavic Air 2 syncs automatically with this stuff. It is so cool. I didn't do anything.
Excellent.
It knew me by my DJI login, so it just added it. I was real happy with that.
The way it's supposed to work is it's supposed to automatically upload, but I noticed with the DJI Go 4, you have to go in and tell your flight data to sync.
Yeah, you got to do your sync first before it'll get all that stuff.
Right.
That's what I noticed too. And you go to your account and you set if you go to the aircraft you're flying, you hit the sync button, and it's supposed to bring up all those flights.
Right.
That you've flown.
Now, I just updated my Litchi programs on a couple of my devices, and I picked up about an extra 20 flights that I had doing with Litchi, and it was brought me over 50 hours and 300 something flights that I had to add to it in the last day or so.
Now, this you don't always see on screen, the data loss.
Right.
Look at those reds, man. What have you been doing?
This is why it went back to DJI in the first place.
Oh, is that the one that was giving you trouble? Yeah, okay, that's right. Yeah, you did show these a couple of months back.
But these are things you're not going to see on screen.
No.
Is this an app? Why this is new to me. Like, what is this?
It's not
Air data.
Air data.
You can get a free up to 6 batteries account with air data. And let me show you the home. It keeps track of all your maintenance that you have to do. And it gives you your weather for right now. Now, they even have an enterprise edition where you can live stream from it. Now, I'm in the Pro account because I had more than 6 batteries, so I had to go to the Pro account. But it keeps track of every flight you ever took.
Wow.
And so you can now.
What was your fastest speed? What aircraft,
flight.
Jim?
What
was the fastest speed? What aircraft was that? If you don't mind showing, I don't know.
Where was that, Al?
It was the bottom right corner.
62 miles per hour. 62.5.
Oh, that had to be the Inspire.
My hottest battery was off the Inspire.
Yeah, that was the Inspire Pro. The Raw.
Pretty fast with a heavy camera on it.
Yeah, I was surprised. And see, that battery temp, this is the thing I wanted to talk about. I'm not seeing it, Dre. Remember where it shows you in the color coding during the temperatures? Because I noticed that 130 degrees is where it...
Look at your voltage loss on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. You can see it. Well, not when it's live, but...
Look at the difference between cells.
Well, it lets you know what condition your battery's in, so you know if that battery's weak,
will give you a
that's one you don't want to use on a long flight.
Did you expose that battery, Jim, or you still have it?
No, I still have it.
And you're flying with it still?
Yeah, sure. You can reset these. If you bring these down to like 5%, you can reset them.
Recycle them.
Right. Well, I call it resetting the board.
Now, there's something I didn't know.
Yeah, you got to. If you get a cell that's out, like here, we're seeing one cell that's out from the other ones.
Yep.
Don't do it all the time, Brian.
Yeah, I was gonna say
on your 20th one, every 20 discharges on your battery.
In fact, they recommend that
cycle them down
in their maintenance. Let's go to equipment. Let's go to maintenance. Now, if you touch on a maintenance, let's say this Inspire needs basic maintenance. It'll tell you what they call basic maintenance. Click here for more information. See, they tell you the deep battery cycle discharge. Fly until it's 25%. Now, they say never fully discharge it to 0. Now, DJI batteries have a 10% you can't fly it to zero theoretically.
No.
But they say fly outdoors until there is less than 8% power left, because that will reset the battery. Because these are battery management systems. The board, there's a board on them.
Okay, Jim, that's the this is the paid version though you're showing though, right?
Yes, sir. But
That's
you still get
I've
that.
Yeah, I've never seen the maintenance stuff.
You don't get that on the free version?
I don't think so.
I mean, it's pretty cool. You can put information on all your stuff, all your batteries, all your aircraft. Pretty good stuff.
Here's the extensive testing my new drone has gone through, Al. There it is. 24 feet, 7 feet away.
No way.
Extensive testing.
That may have been as far as they were able to get it.
Oh my God, you better shut up. I'm coming over your house.
So you were able to get the information of that flight they did over in their facility.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
I told
incredible.
you guys about the Mavic Air that I sold and somehow wound up in Africa.
This is
And
DJI.
It's in the ocean. It's crazy.
This is DJI California. They
That's
flew
incredible.
it further.
That's great.
That's cool.
Tells you the details of the flight, the elevation, where it was, everything. But the beauty you want to go for is, was there any problems during that flight? And there was not.
Yeah, because I'd be looking for that voltage drop. Then again, if they're using, would they be using the same battery, Jim? Or
No, they're using their batteries.
So yeah, they wouldn't be getting that issue maybe then.
Well, you saw mine was the flight control board. That was the problem.
Yeah.
See, it's called Drone 11 on here because it's got a new board in it now.
Ah.
So is it the same aircraft or a completely different new one?
Well, what the hell do we know, Al? Seriously.
If I had to gamble, I would say probably a new one, another one, not the one you gave him.
It's anybody's guess. But there's a wealth of information in that Airdata. It's free for up to 6 batteries or 300 flights.
No. I got the same version as you, Jim, when you turned me on to it, the Pro version.
Now, you don't have to put every junk flight in there. If you're just doing I'm playing around flight, take it off. You can delete that flight record.
It's still good to see when you go practice or when you're out there.
Oh,
flying.
I forgot
Just in
to
general,
show.
these stuff.
All these flights are also downloadable.
Yes, they are.
Let me show that right quick.
CSV files.
Yeah. It's just something that there is nothing else out there giving us this information right now. So let me go back to that.
Something else too on the free version for anybody that's wanting to know. It says it gives you up to 100 flights, but I get warnings every time I turn around. We're about to delete 250 flights because you're over your 100 limit. Yeah, they've been sitting there for 6 months and y'all haven't deleted them yet.
And they archive them too. They're not gone forever.
Yeah.
So you can turn around and take any one of these flights.
If you mark it as a favorite, you get to keep it.
So you can turn around and add all, a whole set of information. But there's something, Al, I want to show where they archive them instead of deleting them. So you can hit the garbage can and delete any flights you want. You can add 10 flights and then hit delete. Because why use up your account?
Even if you delete a flight, they archive that flight.
They're archived for 30 days or something. Because you can hit. This is what Al was talking about. You can hit here and hit the KML file, which is a Google Earth file. You can hit a GPX, which is basically for GIS systems, and then you can comma separated, which is your Microsoft Excel file. You download all this stuff.
Which I've downloaded.
Yeah, I just signed up for it. It's syncing now. I can't wait to try this out.
Excellent.
Oh, you're gonna love it.
You're gonna wonder how. Yeah, you start playing with the data. And once again, you get crazy with data.
Yeah. So you see that one battery cell, Ron? That's borderline. It's like, well, what should I do?
Yeah.
Hey, knowledge is power, man. You know, you never know. You could be sending up a bad battery. You never know. This thing's gonna
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's go back to just. This is my oldest Inspire. Let's see what that one had to say about it. Yeah, I never had any problems with these birds, but if there's ever any problem that you don't see on screen, it will show up in these records. And that is, you're in the middle of a flight and all of a sudden it stops flying. It'll be because, especially with the Mavic 2 Pro, I've had that happen where the obstacle avoidance stops me in the middle of the sky and there's nothing in front of it.
Big wind.
It tells you to return the sticks to center and then try again. But I found that when I turn around and did the recalibration via the DJI Assistant 2 on the screen, that worked. That's a pain in the ass. Have you guys done that?
Well, that's good to know. Yes, it is.
Happens on my Phantom 4.
Oh, man.
How would you do it on one of those? I mean, it's hard enough on my Mavic 2.
The Mavic 2 Pro, you have to sit there and do the vision position sensors. Right, yeah. Oh, it's maddening, isn't it?
It's the same thing with the bigger drones, right, Jim? Your M6 M210 has the glass board probably. I don't even think you use a computer.
They gave me a plate.
Like the Inspire 2, Inspire 1.
Inspire 2 has the plate too? That's good.
Yeah.
You're sitting there trying to hold 10 pounds up or something like that. Are you out of your mind?
It'd be easy to move the computer. Do it on a laptop.
Thanks, Rick, for saying that. And thank you all for coming each week and sharing your knowledge and skills and abilities with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great community.
I'm sitting here learning right now. Like, I can't wait to go through all this. Like, I never heard of this thing. This is awesome.
It's a wonderful wealth of information, and especially for your batteries. I mean, always number your batteries. We kind of all know
I have my
that.
battery numbered. Absolutely, yeah.
But you know what? It turned out I favored battery number 2. Yeah. And I didn't even know that until I read the damn thing.
Yep.
You try to rotate, but...
Right?
It gets hard when you got a lot of birds, though, right?
Yeah.
You start flying one drone more than the other, and you got to take care of all those batteries. Even if you're not flying them, you got to make sure they don't drop below a certain voltage.
And you can now. I don't know, but on the Pro version, which is $14.99 a month, I wish it was cheaper. To be honest with you,
it's not that bad.
No.
But when you add it in with what else you're paying, so you can make your own maintenance reports.
But I paid $480
Jim,
for the brand new batteries.
You know what's on there that I have not yet figured out, and maybe since you're on the topic, isn't there some type of live streaming or something live?
Yes,
account.
But you have to have the enterprise account.
It's an enterprise account. They don't have a price on that. They have to talk to you about it in person.
Okay.
Live stream upgrades, additional regions. When you hit live streaming, you have to be in the enterprise, and you're no longer in the $15 a month category.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're shooting you up there. Price.
Let's hit my account streaming. Live streaming is only available for enterprise plan as an optional add-on. So you've got the enterprise program and then the live streaming. And you can share your flight data with other people if you want. Well, who the hell is sharing my flight data?
Well, I think that's if you're working for a company, you want to be able to in charge of the program.
Okay,
They give you that little. They give you that little badge in there too, Jim. If you look in there if you have a website, they gave you the HTML file to put in your website for your flight hours and your flights.
Go under my logs, you'll find the badge.
I understand that, but do you guys see that my flights have been shared and I didn't share them with anybody?
No, I didn't see that.
Who the hell are these people?
When was that? People. Well, I was gonna say, was that the repair people? Because you had your drone over there. Could be them.
Holy shit!
What's the date? January 2nd?
It says March.
March 17th.
March 17th. Oh, okay.
Let me. What's the link?
Go over the full flight link.
This is the flight. Well, this is all the problems it was having. Look at the time. 8 seconds. 6 seconds. This thing was having crazy problems. RTK base station data lost.
What screen are you seeing, Jim? I'm still seeing that that one.
Oh, you are? Why is that?
Oh. Yeah, your screen didn't change.
What's your name? Yeah, it didn't change at all.
That's odd. But okay, let me change it back over. I clicked on the shared link to see what the hell it was sharing and with who.
Where was that drone on March 17th? Was it at home?
This was a flight I did out in the middle of nowhere, and they were building a highway, a construction exit, and it disconnected on me.
Yeah, data lost, data lost, data lost. More than once. Wow.
I hate the GPS, that ADSB rather, because that comes up on the screen.
So when it
sucks
disconnected,
anyway.
were you in Atti mode, or did it go back to GPS mode?
No, it was in P mode.
Yes. I see it down here at the bottom on W GPS.
But after it loses connection, it goes into Atti mode.
No.
And then it went into return to home. When it loses connection for too long, it's supposed to go into return to home.
Al, when you read this, it's also sequential. So when you get down where it says GPS mode, that's the time and distance where it went back to GPS mode. You go back where he's data lost, it's not telling what mode he's in at that point. It says data lost, which is no connection. So it's no telling if you've been in Atti mode or just lost the GPS.
Let's hit this one. At this position, it lost data for 8 seconds.
Yeah. And usually it takes almost 25 seconds for the kick and return to home.
It's not supposed to, according to them, 6 seconds maximum. According to DJI, but it's supposed to go into auto return to home.
Mine, I can lose it up to. I'm down, huh? Okay, here we
All
are.
I know is that it's an awful good reason for having line of sight.
Oh yeah. And this is it right here, because this right here, if somebody pulls up your data, they can tell you right here, you did not have line of sight if this was going on with your flight.
Right. Log duration 16 minutes overview.
What are you talking about? I had a spotter down there.
Yeah, and he had his firehouse lights on. They were blinking.
This is an empty field too. Wide open area. There's nothing here. Okay. We can stop sharing that now. But the system is supposed to return to home.
Yeah. And that's when your regular controller would tell you then is, hey, lost a signal, return to home.
Right. I had one time, Dre, only one time, which scared the living daylights out of me. It flashed red on screen. It says battery damaged.
Ooh.
Whoa. Oh.
Yeah, man. The thing was 5,000 feet away, and it says battery damaged.
Oh, no.
Not good. No, I didn't get a battery damage, but it said something was wrong with the battery, and it was right before I thought to take off, and the battery was just not seated all the way. And it gave me that error message. The battery was, I think it was, I just flew the Phantom 3 Pro Sunday when I did that train video, and it just said something about the battery, and I had it was in there. I had to take it back out and just kind of slam it in there real good and connect it.
Now, can mine snap in? They're spring loaded.
Right. Yeah. Latrice ones. Yeah.
Yeah. I've only seen that the one time and never saw it again, and it didn't show up in the Airdata records. So, you know, I didn't know what to make of it. But yeah, man, get a free account. Get a free account.
That's what I'm working on right now, man. I'm doing all that stuff.
Get the free account, see how you like it, and then you can decide what level that you fly at, what's good for you.
I depend on that and UAV forecast for my wind. UAV forecast to tell you the wind at different heights.
Okay.
Yep.
Because, you know, if it's 20 miles an hour, because sometimes I have to fly during the hurricane pre-inspection and post-inspection flights.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to know if it's blowing at 40 miles an hour. You can bet your ass it's staying within line of sight. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. If it's going to crash, you're going to control it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As much as any can. Because the thing is, when you get too much wind on these aircraft that it has to fight, the ESC will actually lower the propulsion.
Yes. I had that message pop up, said propellers adjustment, something like that. Some slowing the motors down.
Right.
I've seen that come up.
Yeah. Propulsion lower.
Hey, Jim, speaking of hurricanes, are you doing any commercial work for, like, in preparedness for that? Like every season? Are you part of that, or?
Yeah, I am actually. I already got contacted for that.
Well,
I'm sure you're under an NDA.
Speaking on that, Jim, now, did you have to get the FEMA level 1 certification to do that?
The company I work for gets all my emergency COAs and all that for me. I just have to give them my remote serial number.
So you might be under there. I know
there's
a thing out there that has FEMA level 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. Basically, the first level is just command structure information, that you understand what the command structure protocols are. I'm gonna probably take that test here in a couple of months just to put it on my belt.
It couldn't hurt.
So,
yeah,
that's about it. So if FEMA emergency comes up, I can be qualified to go out there and say, who's in charge?
But you'll find that at the time of an emergency, they just want you to fly.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is that you have to decide whether it's safe to fly or not.
Right.
Money's money, but your ass is your ass, because you're the one that's going to get sued.
Right.
Is it your bird too, Jim? When you do those things, your bird or their bird?
My bird, my aircraft.
Your insurance, everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's why I was talking earlier when Mitch was talking about his plane and he was talking about getting inspected, and that's why a lot of folks get on the fence about this hobbyist and commercial. And I always tell people, I said, if we want our industry to grow and be respected, no matter if you're a hobbyist or a full-blown commercial, I feel there needs to be some level of qualification that you can have in your pocket to say that it's a PR thing. Because just like Mitch was saying, he's a private pilot, has his private plane, but he has to get certified, and his plane has to be inspected.
Absolutely.
So like you see guys take off these little small, we call puddle jumper airports and stuff. Those are qualified pilots. They may not be commercial pilots, but they're qualified pilots.
And you think about something, a commercial pilot actually has less to do than these puddle jumpers, because they hit the flight route and they're gone.
Right. So that's why it's been my position that, which I see the FAA going this route anyway, is that if everyone who bought a drone from, I would say, age 16 and up had to get at least pass a basic knowledge test.
I love whipping it out, man.
Yeah.
I love whipping it out.
I want a practical test added to that. I want them to, where we have to show them that we know how to fly.
Right. And
don't they have to do that in like Canada and UK and Australia?
has that, PFCO.
And people who give a little pushback, I always tell them, I say, it's just like getting a driver's license in any state.
Sure.
Everybody can get a license to drive a car. Now, myself, I hold a commercial license also. I can drive heavy equipment. Also, I can drive anything with a tank on it, air brakes, all that kind of stuff for my commercial license. And
CDL?
CDL. And it's an extra thing. Every 2 years, I have to go get a physical to maintain
got an EFO.
So that's what I'm saying, that, that's the difference between a regular person driving and a commercial driving. The same thing with drones. Everybody can get a regular qualifications certification, but you do have people who want to be Part 107 commercially because we actually get paid for what we do and so forth. So I can say, to me, it's just a good PR thing that people see you out there flying. They will have the general knowledge that you had to have some kind of qualification to be able to get that drone and do what you're doing, even though you have to have it for fun.
I love telling people, like, they ask me, hey, you're allowed to fly that here? I said, no, I'm not allowed to fly it here. I'm certified by your government to fly it here. So,
right.
Yeah, I love being able
really
to tell
trying to piss them off, huh?
Well, it's most people come up and they're just, curious about everything, but they're always get that one to come up to you and go, are you allowed to fly that here? Yes, I am, and
Hey.
I'm certified by your government to fly it here. You know.
Hey, Jim, Ron, Brian, Aldea, Dre. I'm about to go to bed, man. I'm over here falling asleep on you.
All right, partner.
Hey,
Sleep
Adrian.
well. Take care,
Take it
Adrian.
easy, man.
It is a little late.
Good night, Adrian.
I'll see you guys at the end of the shop, and thank you so much. And
All
I'll
right.
see you guys later. Man, I gotta take this training bra off, man. It's hurting my titties. Good night.
All right.
Something else too. About 18 months ago, when they started this new FAA rule stuff, one of the first things the FAA said was that we are going to come out for the hobbyist with a
test.
questionnaire that it was supposed to be like, I don't know, 50 questions or something they were supposed to hit everybody with. That never happened.
No.
You know,
Still hasn't come out.
question what they are going to do when they say, well, we're going to do this, and then nothing ever happens.
The 2018 Reauthorization Act is what put the time limits on the FAA, or rather the Federal Department of Transportation, which runs the Federal Aviation Administration. They were given 2 years to come up with a remote ID system. And that's why there was such a rush, and there was 53,000 comments and all that. At least they can say they're working on it now. To Congress. I don't know who they report to, but
well, I chalked that up with the FCC when the HD TV was supposed to come out in 2003.
Yeah.
When did we finally get it? 2009 or 10 or 11?
No, we're still getting it, man.
Still trying to get it. 2003, and I'm out buying a little TV from what's the Mitsubishi. I'm waiting, and here it is, a decade later.
You can barely get any 4K TV shows now. You won't get them off mainstream, but you'll get them on things like Netflix.
The Super Bowl
and Prime
hasn't even been broadcast in 4K yet.
Right.
Think about that.
You're pushing 8K TV.
The Super Bowl hasn't been broadcast in 4K yet.
Yeah, well, that's all part of the problem is that they kept changing the standards. Right, where it was, where they included 720p as HD because it was supposed to be at 1080i. Was supposed to be the original standard, 1080i. Right. And then they said, well, let's include 720p because a lot of broadcasters says they couldn't afford to upgrade all their equipment that fast to that level. So now you got a lot of stations, Fox Network, ESPN. I think there's a couple others that all still broadcast to this day at 720p.
1080, 720,
and the funny thing is that the only one that went straight to 1080i originally was PBS. Public Broadcasting Station was the
Frickin'
first
Sesame
one to go.
Street, boys, in 1080.
The first one to go full HD at that point. Yep. The full.
Can't get the Super Bowl in 1080. Boy, I get Sesame Street in 1080.
Hey, Dre, when I was a kid, they didn't have color TV, so.
Oh, you and me both, brother. I grew up on 19-inch black and whites.
We had 3 channels, man.
Oh,
three
man,
channels.
you had a 19. I only had 13 inches, man. Shit.
Hey, Brian, that was the family TV. I remember my first color TV.
Yeah.
Who here hasn't had one of those floor model 24-inch consoles that took 3 men and a mule to move?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Who here hasn't had one?
The stereo cabinet.
Here's that 2-foot remote I used for that, too.
Hey, Ron, I remember when we got our first color TV console one, and my mother told us he was on one room, said it's against the wall on the other side, said it'd make you go blind.
Yep. Yep. Can't sit too close to it.
Yeah, can't sit too close to it. Hey, Rick. Yeah, so I said I remember all those days, man, and let's say we got our houses and everything else, and like I say, the broadcasting still has not kept up with the technology that we had to display it.
No. There's
About the only
8K
thing
TV
that has
that's what I
come
said.
out already. Consoles.
Say again, Ron?
Well,
I said about the only thing that has kept up are the video game consoles. They can do 4K 60,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
broadcast TV can't.
but once again, what you're displaying it on. You got games that play at 4K, but you're still playing on 1080p if you got that, or 720p flat screen. And like I always tell people, I will never regret about the latest technology that comes out. Because if the broadcasting can't support it, what do I actually?
We might as well kick this off, boys. It's been 2.5 hours, and you know nobody likes to go that long.
Yeah, I'm out of wine. That must be bedtime.
All right, guys. Take care. Take care, Jim.
Take it easy,
All right,
guys.
gentlemen.
We'll see you.
Appreciate it always, Jim.
Thanks
Bye,
again.
everybody in the chat.
Thanks for coming, guys. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Jim.